Hey guys, I am Hijinks, and you are watching Cutting the Learning Curve, the RaceRoom tutorial series designed to help get you over the challenge of setting up the game and outdriving as quickly as possible. Today, I'm bringing you episode 1, which is going to be audio and gameplay settings. We're going to have episode 2, which will be for controls, episode 3, which will cover video settings, and episode 4, which will get you into VR. Let's go ahead and get started with episode 1, audio and gameplay settings. If you find value in what I'm bringing you here today, remember to leave me a thumbs up, and if you want to see the rest of the series, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you get alerted when the rest of them come out. Let's get started with part 1, audio and gameplay. Let's go. First thing you want to do is set it up in the flat screen mode, the 2D screen mode, and then we'll worry about the VR after we get all the basics taken care of, okay? Let's go ahead and hit play, and we're going to play RaceRoom 64-bit version. We're going to wait for the Steam VR mode later. Play. Alright guys, here we are looking at the 2D version of RaceRoom. I've already set mine up, so we're just going to go through all the options setting by setting and teach you what everything means. As you can see, there's a little gear icon in the upper right corner of the screen. This is going to be where we do all our settings. Let's go ahead and click on that. Alright guys, first thing is the sound settings. Channels. Most people are going to use stereo. That's like if you're using VR or a wireless headset. Some people have a surround sound system. If you know you have a surround sound system, then you know what kind of speaker configuration you have. So just select it appropriately. RaceRoom supports up to 8.1 channel surround. Master volume is the overall volume of the game relative to all the other programs that you may be running. So if you're talking to someone and you're having a hard time hearing them over the car sounds, turn down your master volume. All the settings below master volume are a relative setting to everything else. So as you can see, I like everything just maxed out, especially the road noise and the road feel effects, scrub volume, skid volume. Those definitely help give you an audio cue as to when your car starts sliding and when you're at the tractional limit. So I'd recommend leaving those all the way up. Suspension squeak, you can kind of see when you're bouncing along the road, and so that's kind of unnecessary in my opinion. But other than that, you can see I have everything maxed out. So moving on. Gameplay settings. So this is basically your personal preferences. This is where you set your options the way you like them, and it won't necessarily have much of an impact on performance, just on your personal performance. So, show the driver's seat, on or off. I like it on because it's more immersive when I'm in VR. Animated driver, you can have off, wheel only, or wheel and hands. So when you're in the vehicle, it shows on the screen a wheel that turns as you turn your control input device. So I prefer to have it set at wheel only because sometimes I'll have my hands in different positions other than where it shows the animated driver hands. And so I don't like that. It breaks my immersion. I'd just much rather see a virtual representation of the wheel only. So that's what I'm going to select. Steering animation. So this, you can set it to match the setup of the vehicle, or it could just be fixed where it stays stationary, it doesn't animate at all. Or you could have it set to custom. If you set it to custom, it will match the wheel rotation of your real life controller input to the degrees that you set below. So my wheel, of course, has a maximum rotation of 1080 degrees. So I'm going to, of course, set that to match. So that's what I prefer. If you prefer it to look correct to the vehicle's actual setup in real life, you would then select the match setup option up here under steering animation. So difficulty presets, we'll just say is reflective of your experience level. So I, of course, like the utmost in realism. I want it to feel as much like a real car as possible. So I'm going to select the Get Real function and actually even customize it from there. Transmission. Like I said, you have your choice of automatic, manual plus auto clutch. So that'd be like a sequential shifter, or even if you have an H pattern shifter and don't have a clutch pedal for some reason. Why would you do that? But okay. Anyway, there's a setting that allows you to do that. And then full manual is, of course, 3 pedals: clutch, brake, and accelerator. Moving on, braking assist. You can have braking assist completely off, so basically you'll have complete control of the braking ability of the vehicle, and that includes up to locking up the tires. There will be nothing to prevent you from doing that. Factory ABS. If the vehicle has ABS as a standard feature, some vehicles do, some vehicles don't. It will depend on the vehicle you choose. You can enable the ABS only for vehicles that would otherwise have it in real life. And then you can, of course, enable ABS full time, add ABS to any vehicle that didn't have it originally. And then assisted braking helps slow you down if you forget to brake. So, good for the kids to help them feel good about how they're doing. Tone down the realism a little bit for fun's sake. So, but hey, I think the utmost in realism is fun, so I'm going to go with factory ABS. Traction control, same deal. You can have it off entirely, even on vehicles that did include it from the factory in real life. You can have factory traction control. That would enable traction control for vehicles that included it from the factory in real life. And it would not have traction control for vehicles that did not include it from the factory in real life. And then traction control on, that enables it for all vehicles all the time, regardless of whether they had the feature or not. I'm just going to prefer to set factory traction control because some vehicles do need it, and luckily they have it. Stability control. This one's easy: low, medium, high, or off. I prefer off because if I lose it, that's on me. I'm trying to challenge myself to be a better driver, and so that's what I prefer. Some vehicles, it'll help you prevent from spinning out, especially rear-wheel drive cars that have a lot of power. They're going to want to spin out very easily. Stability control on might help with that. And you can, of course, choose to what degree: low, medium, or high. Counter steer assist. So if you start getting sideways, this will help compensate that oversteer with automated steering inputs, just as it describes here. Like my reasoning for turning stability control off, I want to be the one in control. I want to be the one that develops the skill. I don't want to rely on a machine to save my ass. I want to be the one to save my own ass. AI control in pit lane. Basically will take over control of your vehicle once you enter the pit lane. My preference is off because realism. But if you don't want to be troubled by having to park your car correctly, then go ahead and turn that on. AI control in Cooldown Lap. That basically, again, will automatically take control of your vehicle once you cross the finish line. So I like to leave that off because I still like to cause shenanigans afterwards. Race line. Basically, a race line is an idealized line that you can follow to get the best time on the track, hopefully. Or you can set it to your own previous best, so you can find where you can improve on your own performance. Or same thing with a Challengers replay. You can use a race line from a Challengers replay to basically learn how to beat them. It's a great skill called ladder climbing, where you choose an opponent that has a time a second faster than your best time, and you continue racing against their race line until you beat their time. So It's a great way to progress your skill. And then the ideal race line there is, of course, what the computer believes to be the fastest line around the track. Again, I like this off because I don't need any guidance. I'm going to do what I want. Show ghost car. So, much like you can follow the race line of a challenger car or your own car, you can actually race against a ghost version of your own car or a challenger car, or set that to off. Cockpit camera settings. So these only affect 2D screen. They have no effect when you are in VR because your head controls the head movements when you're in VR. Who would figure, right? Head movements, amplitude, basically your head's going to move around as the car moves around, and that's the degree to which it does that. Look to apex as you go around a corner. This is going to determine how much your view gets shifted to the inside corner. Pitch lag. So when your car bumps up, how soon is your camera head setting going to react to that? This is the lag amount in percentage. So you can set those to your taste. I'm not too worried about those because, again, VR. HUD settings. So these are all the things that can be shown while you are racing. Data display style. You can have it off entirely. You can have a full data display or a mini data display. I prefer as much information as possible, so I do a full data display. The data display HUD in Cockpit. This will basically turn this display on or off while you're inside the vehicle. This can be useful for getting it out of the way so you can just see the regular gauges that are on the dash of the vehicle and not have to rely on the virtual dash gauges. Speed indicator, metric or miles per hour. Even though I'm merkin, I do prefer metric. I wish we would get on that system. That's my vote. I want to join the rest of the world in measurement. Position bar. So basically, this will tell you in what position you are in either qualifying, practice lap, time, or race position. On or off. Boom, boom. Position bar relative. So if you have this off, it'll show everyone's absolute time on the position bar. It won't show the difference between them. It'll just show each person's time. So the person ahead of me comes in at a minute 14. I come in at a minute 15. Person behind me comes in at a minute 16. It's going to show all of those times. If we turn this to position bar relative, it'll show the first place person at 114 and me at +1 and the next person at +2. That's how that works. Position bar multi-class mode. So if you have this set to off, it will only show you your class competitors. So if you're in the GTO class, it will only show you other competitors in GTO cars. If you're in the GT3 class, it will only show you other cars in the GT3 class. It won't show you anyone else. If you turn this on, it will show you everybody, and it will basically put everybody into a leader bar together, and it will denote cars of your same class in a different color from everybody else's. This is great if you're a pretty good driver and you're punching above your weight class, if you will, and are able to drive a car of a lower class at a competitive rate with cars that are faster than you. So kudos to you if you can do that, and the position bar multi-class mode will help you see if you are or not. Track map. Of course, that's just going to show you a little GPS display in the corner of your screen. It will only show you a portion of the track, basically what's visible coming up. It won't allow you to see the entire track. That's up to you if you want to see that or not. I find it helpful because it shows me other cars on the track, so I know if there are competitors coming up corners ahead of me or corners behind me. Static HUD track map. In the off position, the HUD map will actually keep your vehicle pointed upward, and it will rotate the track around you. If you turn that to on, it will keep the track stationary with north up, and it will show your vehicle whichever direction you happen to be pointing on the track that way. Driver names. Of course, you want to know who your competitors are, so on or off. I, of course, want them on. Virtual mirrors. So, virtual mirrors are basically like a rear view mirror if you're in an external view. You can also have that inside the cockpit, but if you're using VR, kind of redundant because you can just look up at the rear view mirror in the cockpit itself. So I actually like to turn that one off for in cockpit. But if for some reason you're using an external view, that's only allowable on a 2D screen, by the way. They don't allow you to have external view in VR. Sometimes virtual mirrors will make sense if you're using the external view. Replay overlays. So, this will basically show you the vehicle information and the camera controls over the top of replays. I, of course, like to have that off because, you know, as a person who produces videos, I don't want all that visual noise that I'd have to want to cut out anyway. I just want like a nice big view of my car. So I turn those off. That's a personal preference thing. Show chat messages. So there is a text chat system built into the game. Default is press C. I set it to enter because that makes it really easy. Show chat messages. So there is a text chat system built into the game. Default is press C. I set it to enter because that makes it really easy for me. You can either have other people's text messages displayed, or you can have them shut off entirely so you're not distracted. Up to you. I like them on because I like to talk crap. In-game overlays. So this determines how many things are displayed. You can have none displayed, so that it's pretty much just you and the car. Essentials only, which would be just like the instrument cluster if you're in an external view, or all to allow you to have whatever else you have selected on. Miscellaneous, save replays to disk. Again, I like the ability to go back and see what I've done in an external camera. So I like to save the replays to disk. One of the settings that goes along with that is TV camera tracking lag. Simulates the human-like imperfections of tracking cars. That's cool. I like it. So I go ahead and leave that on. You can, of course, turn that off if you prefer to control your own camera. Save replays to disk. If you enable this feature on, those replays can be viewed on the main menu by going to the camera icon in the upper right hand corner. That'll take you to the replay viewer. And that pretty much does it for gameplay settings. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me for part 1, audio and gameplay settings. Remember to leave a like if you got anything out of this. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know it's not the most exciting stuff, but I hope it gets you to getting to play the game sooner rather than later. If you want to see the rest of the series, remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified as they come out. Thank you once again. This has been Hijinks. You're watching Hijinks VR. Have a great night.